Every 2 weeks, part of your paycheck disappears before you ever see it. You're told that money is being saved for your retirement. And according to the government, there's $2.9 trillion set aside for American workers. But almost nobody knows where that money actually is, because the system that takes it, through something called FICA, works very differently than most people imagine. In this video, you'll see where that money really goes, and why the next few years could determine what actually happens to your retirement. By 2033, us just 8 years from now, and the Social Security Administration's own official report warns that the system may only be able to pay out 77 cents for every dollar it owes you. Not because of some unexpected disaster, not because of a market crash, because the math has been broken for decades and everyone at the top has known it. If you are 45 years old right now, you will be 53 in 2033, still working, still paying in, watching the clock. If you are 55, you will be 63, 1 year from full retirement age, the moment this hits. This is not theoretical. This is not political. This is mathematics. And your retirement is sitting right in the middle of it. So stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you will know 3 things that most Americans, smart, educated, financially aware Americans, have never fully understood. 1. What actually happened to the $2.9 trillion. 2. How the richest country in history built a retirement system that is quietly heading toward insolvency. 3. Exactly what you can do about it, starting today. Once you see this clearly, you cannot unsee it. Let's go. To understand where the money went, you need to understand where the whole thing started. 1935. The Great Depression has gutted America. 1 in 4 workers is unemployed. Banks are collapsing every week. Millions of elderly Americans have nothing. No savings, no pension, no safety net. President Roosevelt looks at the country and makes a promise. Pay in while you work, and when you're old, we will take care of you. Americans said yes. Of course they said yes. The idea was beautiful in its simplicity. Young workers pay in, elderly retirees collect. As long as there are more workers than retirees, the money flows and everyone is safe. And for a while, the math was extraordinary. In 1950, there were 16 workers paying into Social Security for every single retiree collecting benefits. 16 to 1. The system was overflowing with money. Adding new benefits was easy. Politicians loved expanding the program. Voters loved the checks. But something happened. Actually, several things happened at the same time. The baby boom generation, 76 million Americans born between 1946 and 1964, started getting old, all at once, like a demographic wave crashing into the system simultaneously, and people started living much, much longer. When Social Security was created, the average American lived to 61. The benefit kicked in at 65. The system was quietly designed so that most people would either never collect or collect for only a few years. Today, the average American lives to 79. Many live into their 80s, some past 100. Every year of longer life is another year the system has to keep writing checks. At the same time, birth rates declined. Families got smaller. Fewer young workers were entering the system to support the exploding wave of retirees. The result? Today, there are only 2.7 workers for every retiree. We went from 16 to 2.7. The entire mathematical foundation of Social Security has shifted under our feet, and most Americans have no idea. Okay, so here's the question you're probably asking right now. But wait, you said there's $2.9 trillion in the trust fund. If the money is there, why is any of this a problem? I love this question, because the answer changes everything. The Social Security Trust Fund is real. It exists on paper. Legally, it is absolutely legitimate. But what's inside it is not a pile of cash. Here's what actually happened. For decades, more money was flowing into Social Security from workers' paychecks than was going out in benefits. There was a massive surplus. That surplus was supposed to be saved in the trust fund, growing safely, ready for when the baby boomers retired. Instead, The government did something different. They spent it and replaced it with I owe us. Every dollar of surplus Social Security money was used to buy special U.S. Treasury bonds, essentially a note from the federal government to itself saying, "We borrowed this, we'll pay it back." That money went into general government spending, wars, infrastructure, tax cuts, whatever was on the political agenda that year. And in the trust fund, pieces of paper, government promises, legal obligations. Yes, but not cash. Now, those bonds are real legal obligations. The U.S. government is fully required to honor them. But here's the problem that changes everything. To pay them back, the government has to either raise your taxes, cut other programs, or borrow more money from somewhere else. There is no investment account. There is no savings fund. There is no pot of gold. The $2.9 trillion is money the government owes to itself and will need to pull from taxpayers to repay. When economists describe Social Security as structurally similar to a Ponzi scheme, this is what they mean. Not that it's illegal. It's fully government sanctioned, but the structure is identical. Current participants are paid with money from new participants, with nothing genuinely set aside for the future. The only real difference between this and Bernie Madoff? Madoff is in prison. This is federal law. Every year, the officials who legally run Social Security publish what's called the Annual Trustees Report. It's a public document. Anyone can read it. Almost no one does. Inside the 2023 edition, buried in the actuarial language and government jargon, there is one sentence that deserves to be front page news. 2033. 8 years away. Let that land for a second. If you were born in 1970, you will be 63 when the fund runs dry. 1 year from retirement age. If you were born in 1980, you will be 53. Still a decade from collecting. If you were born in 1990, you will be 43. Still deep in your working years, still paying in. And what happens when the trust fund actually hits zero? Social Security does not shut down. The program continues, but it can only pay benefits from the incoming payroll taxes of current workers. No reserves left to draw from, and those incoming taxes cover only about 77% of what the system owes. Let's make that real. The average Social Security benefit today is around $1,800 per month. Under the 77% scenario, that becomes $1,386 per month. That's $414 less every single month for the rest of your life. Across a 20-year retirement, that is nearly $100,000 in promised money you will never receive. $100,000 gone from a check you paid for with your own earnings every 2 weeks for your entire career. And the cruelest part, this is not a surprise. This is not a sudden crisis. Government actuaries have been flagging this exact math problem in official reports since the 1990s. For 30 years, Congress has known. And for 30 years, they have done almost nothing meaningful, because every real solution requires someone to feel pain, and pain costs votes. Here's one more layer to this story, and this one genuinely frustrates people when they first understand it. In 2024, Social Security payroll tax applies to the first $168,600 of earned wages. After that point, it stops completely. This is called the wage base cap. If you earn $60,000 a year, you pay Social Security tax on every dollar, all of it. If you earn $168,600 a year, you pay on every dollar, all of it. If you earn $2 million a year, you pay on the first $168,600. Then it stops. A hedge fund manager making $5 million a year stops paying Social Security tax sometime in the first week of January. A teacher, a nurse, a construction worker, they pay all year long, every single paycheck. And here's the part that goes even deeper. The wage cap applies to earned income, wages and salaries, investment income, capital gains, dividends, carried interest. The primary way the ultra-wealthy make their money is completely exempt from Social Security tax. Zero, none. The system designed to protect working Americans is funded almost entirely by working Americans. Raising or eliminating the wage cap is consistently cited by economists across the political spectrum as one of the simplest ways to extend Social Security solvency by 20 to 30 years, without cutting a single benefit. It gets proposed regularly, it dies regularly, because the people who would pay more are often the same people writing checks to political campaigns on both sides of the aisle. Let's get honest and personal for a moment, because depending on where you are in life, this crisis lands very differently. Type 1. The true believer. You're in your 50s or 60s. You have paid into this system your entire working life. You built your entire retirement plan around that monthly Social Security check. You believe it will be there at full value because that is what you were always told. You might be right. Congress could act. Political pressure could force a fix before 2033. But betting your retirement security entirely on politicians doing the hard and unpopular thing at exactly the right moment, that is a high-risk strategy. The smartest thing a Type 1 can do right now: know your exact projected benefit, model what 77% of that number looks like, and build a buffer. Type 2, the skeptic. You're in your 20s or 30s. You have mentally written off Social Security completely. You assume it will not exist in any useful form when you retire, so you are building your financial future entirely through your own savings and investments. This is the most rational financial position available. But the system still affects you, your payroll taxes, your take-home pay, future tax policy. So understanding the crisis matters even if you don't plan to depend on it. Type 3, the caught in the middle. You are between 40 and 55, close enough to retirement that you cannot simply ignore Social Security, but young enough that you will almost certainly face some version of this crisis directly. You have paid in for 15 to 25 years. You planned around that money, and now you are watching the 2033 countdown and wondering whether your plan still makes sense. This is the most stressful position in the room, and it is also the most important one to plan around carefully and honestly. I know that was a lot. Some of it is uncomfortable, some of it might even make you angry, and then honestly, that anger is completely justified. But here is what I need you to hear clearly. You are not powerless, not even close. The people who understand how this system actually works are the people who can plan around it intelligently, and right now, you are one of those people. So let's talk about exactly what to do, starting today. Social Security was designed as one leg of a three-legged retirement stool: Social Security, an employer pension, and personal savings, all three together. The pension leg has largely vanished from the American economy over the past 30 years. Most workers today have no employer pension. That means your personal savings, your 401k, your Roth IRA, your taxable investment accounts must now carry far more weight than your parents or grandparents ever needed to build personally. If you are not currently maximizing your retirement account contributions, that is the single most important financial move you can make after watching this video. Not tomorrow, not next month. Today, every year you delay is compound growth you cannot recover. The math on that is just as unforgiving as the math on Social Security, just working in your favor instead of against you. This is one of the most powerful and most underused strategies in all of personal finance. For every year you delay claiming Social Security benefits past your full retirement age, up to age 70, your monthly benefit increases by approximately 8% per year, guaranteed. By law, if your benefit at 67 is $1,800 per month, waiting until 70 bumps that to roughly $2,232 per month, every month, for the rest of your life, automatically adjusted for inflation. For people in good health who can financially bridge the gap until 70, delayed filing is one of the highest risk-free returns available anywhere in personal finance. The caveat: you need income to live on during the gap. which is exactly why building your own savings during your working years is not optional. It is the strategy that makes everything else possible. Social Security reform is not a left-wing issue or a right-wing issue. It is a math issue, and the math does not care about party affiliation. The solutions that exist, raising the wage cap, adjusting benefit formulas for higher earners, gradually increasing the retirement age for younger workers, or some combination, are all on the table in serious policy circles. Congress will only act when the pressure from voters becomes impossible to ignore. Right now, most Americans do not understand the problem clearly enough to demand a solution. You now understand it. That matters. Talk about it. Share this video. Contact your representatives. Be one of the informed voices that makes this too loud to ignore. Let's come back to that paycheck, that line, FICA, that money that left your hands before you ever touched it. You have been paying it faithfully, some of you for 5 years, some for 30. You did not negotiate the terms. You did not choose the system. You did not vote on the math. You just showed up, did your job, and trusted that the promise would be kept. That trust was not foolish. The program has paid out more than $20 trillion in real benefits since 1935. It has kept tens of millions of elderly Americans out of poverty. Those are genuine, meaningful achievements, and they belong to the people who built this system and paid into it. But the system also has a structural problem that has been visible for decades, acknowledged in official government documents, and left unaddressed because fixing it was politically inconvenient. That problem is now 8 years from becoming your problem. Your retirement, your benefit check, your monthly budget. You deserve to know this clearly. Now you do, and now you can act. Let me know what you think about this situation, and whether you are sure about your future. That is what this channel is here for. To give you the honest, clear, simple financial picture of how money actually works, so that you can make decisions based on reality. If this video made you stop and think, then we did everything right. Hit subscribe and stay connected.